Hi there, everybody. So, as you can see, I'm still not home. I'm traveling and I'm coming to you from Glasgow. Um, I'll just tell you a little bit about that because that's my connection for this full moon, as stuff going on with the traveling. Um, so, I didn't intend this or plan it this way, believe it or not, but I'm going to end up going to a place that is connected to the ancestry in a difficult way and in some good ways on two of the clans, Scottish clans, that are on my dad's side of the family. So for me, this is a really big deal. I don't have any concrete proof that my, it's like the 1690s, so great, 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 great. I have no proof that, anyone I'm directly related to in these clans was fighting each other, but it still feels powerful to me. It always has, because these clans are still not liking each other. There's still signs that say, no Campbells allowed in this region. And we have part Campbell and part Allen or McDonald. And my dad carries both those names in his first name. And so I find it significant because you're talking about a deep rift in history that still exists and is kept alive. And my dad carries those names. And two people in his family from the different clans married. Probably not over here in Scotland. They probably did it in Canada. But it's pretty significant for me somehow. And I'm going to go see this tomorrow on the full moon in Sagittarius, all about adventure and knowledge and questing and, pilgrimages and such with Sagittarius. It fits quite well for me. Now, my experience is, it's not every day people do this type of pilgrimage that I'm on. But there's always ways that it plays out in our lives. Often the full moon in Sagittarius will really emphasize a need for your freedom. Where do you feel the most stuck or blocked or restricted? Where do you feel suppressed, oppressed? And as we'll see when I get to analyzing the chart, where do you feel like you just can't sort of get what you want? Which isn't typically a Sagittarian thing, but freedom themes, and then on the converse, the sun that's in Gemini with the opposite, diversifying, adapting, being chameleon-like with everybody, versus Sag is like, this is the way, this is the one true way, this is the truth, I know it, I'm telling you. But, Gemini likes to have adaptability and play and wiggle room, and Sag, it's just like, out of my way, I'm doing this. Like, I need to be free to do this. And so, because it's squaring off with certain planets, it could be frustrating those needs. So it emphasizes those needs for freedom or for wiggle room, and wondering, is it possible to get what you want? Is it possible to satisfy or scratch those itches or urges you have? That might be on your mind. So let's take a look at our chart. Now, I'm doing this live from a hotel room, so I'm not on my laptop, as you can tell, and I have to look at my phone for the chart. And I'm going to try to hold up the phone and see if it will show you. Oh yeah, okay, we can sort of see it. So just take a look at it. At least it'll be on the video, but I need to look at it to talk about it. But just take a little peek at the full moon chart. All right. So here we go. Sun opposite moon, of course, because it's a full moon. Now the sun is in Gemini, but it's, as far as Eastern Standard Time goes, so North America, Eastern Coast, it's in the 12th house. So as we've said, if you're in a different time zone, if I forecasted this for where I am, sun might still be in the 12th house because it's just at the beginning of the 12th house. It could pop into the 11th, but I didn't double check where it is if you're in the UK. Whew, excuse me, because most of you who are listening to me are still probably in North America. So, sun in the 12th house is another thing that's frustrating often. Again, you feel like you're not really being seen for who you are. Your identity planet is hanging out in the house of the hidden, the unconscious. And so it's harder to shine, it's harder to know who you are, what you want, what you need. Moon, on the other hand, is in the 6th house. That's some contrast because the moon in the 6th would be about your health. And the moon going through your sign going through the 6th could be anything to do with family health, do I get what I want? It's because I see Saturn squaring off with a cluster of planets. Saturn is squaring Uranus, Venus, North Node, and Mercury. Yikes. So Uranus, Venus, North Node are all in Taurus, and Mercury's just 0 degrees Gemini. It's squaring off with Saturn in Aquarius. When you get Venus square Saturn, you get a situation of what I want this, that, and Saturn says, no, that's not it. Saturn restricts it and says, well, that's not very serious. You share your desires, you share your inspiration, you share what you love. Saturn goes, that's not very practical. Did you do any of the groundwork for that yet? So Saturn can be a buzzkill to Venus. And so that's what's going on. You've got Venus with Uranus and the North Node. So you've got some activity and some inspiration and some, I'm moving towards something new and what I really want. And maybe I see like a new path, a new sense of how I'm going to work, a new sense of security, a new idea of how I see myself in communities, because it's in the 11th house, a new vision. And then Saturn's in the 8th house is like, well, how are you going to pay for that? You know, or it comes along and says, well, that's not a very interesting or clever idea. But for some people, Saturn also will be necessary. Buzzkill, yes, but sometimes we need the necessary buzzkill. Sometimes Venus gets out of hand, doesn't she? It's all just, I want, and this, and oh, this is so exciting. And then Saturn has to say, wait a second, we can't do everything at once here. Come on. So I don't know if you guys are going through that, because when you've got a full moon going like, oh, I want to just get out there and be adventurous and do things I haven't done and say things I haven't said, and I'm just going to stand up on my, I don't know, on a podium and say, hey, world, man, like, wake up. This is what I know. And I have a right to do it and say it. And then you've got Gemini coming along on the other side of it. It's like, you know, oh, that's interesting, but what about that? Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, that could be good. Oh, yeah. Oh, you do that. Oh, that's cool. Tell me about that. Oh, you know, just always interested, always curious. So both of those signs, even though they're opposing, you know, they've got a certain kind of momentum. They're mutable, they're changeable, and they're heightened right now. And then these others are fixed, you know. Venus at square Saturn is, you know, Taurus and Aquarius, very fixed signs. So it's going to dominate might dominate the passion side with a little bit of practical, well, that's what you say you want, but how you can actually do that kind of. But you know what? You might find ways. You might need to be extra inventive or extra self-disciplined. Maybe it's going to be about your health, or maybe it's going to be about needing to spend some time alone, or why am I alone so much? Something on the contrary. But, you know, Saturn can give us a little foundation in a good way, some discipline, some limits. It's just if it gets too many limits, it kills the passion. Well, now people feel like, oh well, why bother then, right? You've just rained on the parade so that people won't even start or try. And that's what you got to be careful of too. That's in the mood of this chart. Now, of course, Uranus and the North Node are opposite the South Node. Venus is sitting there on top of all of that North Node stuff. It's really pulling us towards the North Node. So this karmic direction of like, looking for new ways, as I said, to work, new ways to belong, a new way of feeling secure in your life and in your world, versus the South Node in Scorpio, which is like, oh well, let's examine that just one more time and go down into the cave and into the depths one more time, doing something that could be dangerous, it could be chaotic, it could give us a lot of wisdom, but could also be really, intense. No, the pull is going more upwards towards the North Node, with that cluster up there of like, get out in the community, find new ways to be part of it, find new ways to belong. So what else is going on here? Well, the moon and sun are also squaring Neptune in Pisces, so all mutable squares. That always tells me, like, just watch out for manipulation, watch out for gaslighting, watch out for exaggerating. Neptune would do that anyway, but when you've got squares with mutable, like, take two people or two things that are really good at shape shifting and put them opposing each other. Maybe it's easier to imagine this if it's like a cartoon or a video game, but think about anything like Transformers or something, had it facing off with each other. It's not very clear what could happen. Both could change constantly and adapt to the other and change the game. Well, that can be fun, that can be creative, but that can also be very confusing. And it can also be, well, where does it end? When do we just say, when does Saturn come in and say, okay, it's enough now, we got to do something about this? Or, all right, you've had your fun, but this is what you are, this is what's going on. So this changeable, playful murkiness that's in the air, when the moon is squaring Neptune, there's definitely potential for deception, and it can be self-deception as well, and it can be, it could be related to your ideals or it's not squaring Venus, it's squaring the sun moon. So, sun and moon is like your identity, who you are in the world, the roles you play, versus what do you actually need? Who are you deep down? The Neptune's squaring off with it, playing around with both. So could you have little identity crises going on? Yeah, possibly. Could you be vulnerable to gaslighting if you're going through that? Yeah. So just be on the watch a bit for that. The moon is making good aspects with Mars and Chiron, though. And Jupiter, sorta. No, too far away. Okay. So we've got Jupiter in Aries now. We've got Mars in Aries, and we've got Chiron in Aries. So a big Aries push. So that's aspecting well the moon. So that could easily give us much more of a fire with that Sag moon of wanting your freedom. Like Aries planets, Aries Mars with moon and Sag is like, excuse me, step aside. I'm doing this. Bye. It's like, take no prisoners. Don't care who I step on. Don't care if I please anybody either. Doing what I need to do. So there is that in the air. Maybe you need to do that. Maybe that'd be good for you. Others of you, maybe you do that too much. You got to calm yourself down. But we'll see. Now, one more time, I want to get to my chart there. It's a little harder because I'm doing this phone and phone. So my chart is quite a bit smaller than what I usually look at. All right, what else we got going on? We have good aspects also to Pluto with our Venus cluster, our North Node, Mercury, Venus, and Uranus. Pluto is accenting that well, making a trine. So again, I think the most positive energy of the chart this time would be that. The impetus or the guts to be bold right now. Remember we said, can I get what I want? Well, you could stay in that loop feeling like restricted, or somebody's coming along like that Saturn in your life and says, well, what about, or trying to rain on it, trying to killjoy what you're happy about. But the impetus of the chart is really like relationship building, partnerships, community, because Pluto's in the 7th, all the other planets are in the 11th of community. Those are all signs of get out there and find new ways to relate and belong that you haven't before. And that'll give you a sense of freedom. And if you've got a little bit of that independent spirit and you feel like doing something a bit gutsy or ballsy, it's a great moon for that now too. Otherwise, I'd say a lot of us will get caught up in the back and forth, flip-flop, self-doubt, gaslighting, being criticized, people saying things that confuse you, not being clear with what you want or with who. So I think it's a full moon, where people that are ready to act and have some clarity are going to. And people that don't are really going to find that they've got to make some decisions and weigh things. And there's going to be, feels like interference. Yeah. Sort of an intense moon. All right, I'm going to grab my cards now. I also got to sit up. Okay. Yes, I'm in bed. It's warm this way. That's why. I'm under a comforter in a cold hotel room. My cards are even cold. It's like they've been in the fridge. All right. Let's do some cards for this moon. I'm going to be a little more random about picking them than shuffling. I'm just going to pick. There we have the Nine of Swords, cruelty, manipulation, Mars. Mars is in Gemini in this card. We don't have Mars in Gemini right now. We have the Sun in Gemini, Mercury, and we have Mars in Aries. But Mars in Gemini here, again, careful of, this card can be like criticism, gossip, verbal abuse, psychological shenanigans, messing with people's heads, gaslighting. Enough said. We got the Princess of Discs. So she's grounded. She's going to uncover whatever is underneath that furry blanket. She's got her wand of her torch pointing downwards. So she's ready to set that cloak on fire and remove it and lift it and get to the bottom of things, isn't she? She's looking downward, but she's confident. It just means she's willing to unearth, you know? She doesn't sit there at the surface and go, I wonder why that's growing there. She'll probably dig up the garden and look why. Not destroy it, but just investigate it, you know? So again, investigate, go a little deeper, get yourself grounded. If you feel like you're being mistreated in some way or somebody confuses you, just get yourself grounded. All right. Next card is the Two of Wands. So could be some arguments, clashes, tempers, irritability, frustration, road rage, Karens, people getting just pissed off in general, duking it out with somebody. Sometimes Two of Wands isn't so bad, though. The Nine of Swords is worse because there's psychological cruelty or manipulation. But the Two of Wands, it's like, hey, get off the couch. I told you, to your kids or the dog or whatever. It's like a momentary burst of a conflict. Usually it's met the same way by the other person. And then it's done. Anger needs to come out sometimes. If it comes out quick and honest in the moment about exactly the thing it is about, then it's healthy. If it's like suppressed and then it comes out later in another way with guilt or about something that it wasn't even about, that's what it's the Nine of Swords, like toxic stuff. So a little bit of clearing the air, not a bad thing. Nine of Pentacles, so the wealth card or gain. You're probably thinking about streams or money, making money, keeping things afloat, multiple streams of income, or maybe multiple bills to pay, multiple things to manage. Usually gain is there's money coming in, but we can't guarantee this for everybody that sees this reading. But if you're resonating with this card and you feel that you're not worried financially right now, deep down something's telling you you're fine. Maybe you are. Maybe there's some gain coming your way. Those of you who are struggling, well, this would be a message of like diversify your investments, diversify, have a side gig, find some stuff to sell, get a second, do something part-time. Think about multiple ways you can cut back on what you spend, earn a little bit more, that kind of thing. Gain doesn't always mean, oh, I won the lotto, Gain could be that you finally just unsubscribe from a bunch of things that you're paying for every month. And oh, look at that, I have an extra $100 a month for something else because I'm not subscribed to stuff. That's still gain. Now we have our nice passion card, lust. So that definitely speaks to the freedoms, the desires, this is what I want. I want that so much. I'm going to get that. I'm just going to reach up and grab it like she does. So some of you are really in this passion, ready to grab and go for it. All right. The moon. Well, the moon beside the passion card. Moon with lust. Well, this will increase that card. The moon is sensitive to what it's beside. The moon could mean you have a totally inspired moment, creatively, or, that's what I want to do. This is my vision. The moon can make it magic, mind-blowing, crazy, amazing. Or the moon can cloud. The moon can make you hysterical and not thinking clearly. So right now, if you're in the passion side of things, just ask somebody, bounce your ideas off of people that you think are receptive, but also well-grounded, not like, crusty kind of people, but somebody that you is going to go, that sounds really cool. I just wonder whether you've thought of this, something gentle just to help. Just don't want anybody jumping off of a cliff for inspiration to find out that there's no water below, or or launching something or buying something or going, oh, I'm going to do that, and finding out, oops. So we'll just see what card is next to it after. And we have the Ten of Cups. Don't burn yourself out with your passions. Well, we don't say that very often, do we? But it's true. If you have a lot of things you want and desire, it can be tiring. Like, it's better than being bored. It's better than, I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. Have you thought about it much? Not really. Right. And that's why your life's pretty flat and boring. Then different kind of problem is the person who's like, I want to write a book and I want to travel and I want to make things and I want to learn an instrument and I've always wanted to learn another language and. So if you are in the other category of so many things you want to do that you're excited and inspired and you're adrenalized and you can't, don't burn yourself out. Don't confuse yourself. You got to keep it simple to succeed. Prince of Wands. So very confident, usually young, good looking, charismatic, charming. He can wing it. He doesn't have to study. He'll just pass kind of guy. Could be someone around you, could be you. And the sun. Nice way to end that off. Well, so we have the moon and the sun in this reading. Very nice. And the lust card as far as major arcana. So it's funny because, I hope I've said it clearly enough, but it's a deep thing to realize what you want. And it's a deep thing to believe you can get it. It's not a shallow thing. And the sun card makes me feel confident that a lot of you, if you're willing to take some risks for what you want, and you've thought about it, but you're still going to be bold, you're probably going to get it. Happy, joy. The sun ends up shining in this reading in the end. That's really great news. Now, we are at 32 and almost 33 minutes here. I don't have my laptop, so I can't specify what time everybody's readings start. So I guess you're just going to have to keep watching me and scroll forward. Now I wanted to give readings for the signs, just based on your just what is your full moon message will be really sort of general, because there's it's a complex chart. There's multiple themes going on. There's different directions being pulled. So what is your full moon message? Aries. Need some water. Strathmore. All these brands of water you never see. Believe it or not, it makes a difference as you're traveling around. Your body gets used to lots of things, temperature, foods, water that you're used to. And I just notice a difference in the taste of water wherever I am. Okie doke. Aries, what's your full moon message? So the Knight or the King of Discs. This is a very businessman type of guy. He's loyal. He's reliable. He's usually pretty good with money. He's working. He pays his bills. He often provides support for other people, or he manages people. Very responsible. So, who is this in your life, Aries? I would say if you have someone strong like this in your life right now, reach out, say hello, do something kind, ask their advice. If you don't have a person like this in your life, then I think you need one to help ground you, because we have Mars going through your sign right now. So it's probably energizing you, but also bringing you probably some drama or some anger. So find your stable guy, your stable person, your rock. Taurus. Taurus, we picked the Queen of Discs, so the female version, the very businessy, resourceful, thinking long term down the road, planning the future. She's got her goat looking out for her, saying, "Yes, do you have an appointment?" You know? She's a different message than the other one, though, because this is sort of like a woman who needs some time to herself. She doesn't want to be bothered by the outside world if she doesn't have to. She probably feels like she's earned her place or earned her right to be a little more behind the scenes, to focus on other parts of her life or her business or her planning, and not be bothered by the day-to-day minutia of things. So Taurus, maybe you need some of that. And if you can't, well, maybe you need somebody to be like someone to answer the door for you or answer the phone for you or something like that. Getting someone to help you out so you have a bit of space. Gemini. Happy birthday to any Geminis. So you've got the Hermit. So Gemini, you've always got both. You've always got that side of you that's extroverted and socially charming and charismatic and all over the place doing everything. And then you've got the other side of you that's very hermit-like, that needs time alone, downtime, doesn't want to talk. So the Hermit's coming up to say, basically, you need to honor your hermit cycle. Maybe you're already in it, maybe you need it, but you need some downtime right now. Sort of said that for Taurus too. It's coming up twice. Hermit is also wants to go within and get the answers from a deeper place. That's why we have to stop. It's not about boredom, although you might have to pass through boredom. It's not about avoiding people or running away. It's certain levels of processing or understanding or even planning. They just don't happen. They just don't happen on a deeper level unless you take some time to be alone. So, Cancers. What's your message for the full moon, Cancer? We've got the King of Cups. So maybe you're looking for your King of Cups. Maybe you are. Maybe you have one. Nice guy around. Maybe more than one. Sensitive, caring, fatherly, kind. Maybe intuitive, maybe artistic, generous towards you. If this isn't someone you know, maybe be open to someone like this coming into your life. Be open to receiving. That's a nice message. Be open to receiving kindness and help and love. I like that. Leos. Full moon message is luxury. So that sort of falls on the axis of that theme of desire versus, going a little bit woohoo, a little overboard with it. Or maybe you are bold enough to ask for the luxury in your life. Are you feeling like you need to upgrade in some way. That could be maybe you feel it's time you deserved an upgrade of your lifestyle. Maybe it's your income. Maybe you feel you are upgrading something that you feel you deserve or need to be happy. Maybe it's the quality of the company you keep. Maybe it's the surroundings, that you have, your immediate environment, the things that you wear, the way you self-care. The This is sort of a card of like a spa, you know. It's like a big fountain going on that's very full and lush. So some of you might be excessive in your desire for that, as long as it's not just material, you know, like I really want more money, and or I want more recognition, or it's always about. But if you're craving an upgrade in another way, maybe you say, maybe the luxury is, you know what, I deserve to live in a place that I find beautiful. Is that a luxury? It is for many people. So you allow yourself certain luxuries that enhance your life or enhance your self-esteem. Virgo. And Virgo gets a Virgo card. Prudence. Yeah. Slow and steady. Keep doing what you're doing. Planning. Letting things grow one day at a time. Sounds sort of boring, doesn't it, Virgos? It is sort of boring, but we also know it works. You know, we don't get too wrapped up in these passions and gaslights like other people. You stay a little detached, and you're busy just getting your own stuff done. And it looks like you're very productive right now. So keep doing what you're doing. All right, Libras. Eight of Swords. This is my analysis paralysis card. Too many thoughts, too many ideas, too many maybe this, maybe that, what if, but if only, or it could have, or should have, would have, and then you're analyzing something to death. You got to get unstuck. You got to get out of your head and into the world. So turn off the TV and the social media and the computer and go outside in the woods, or go sit by some water. Go watch people in the park. Go pet a dog. Clean your house. Do something that's not being stuck in here. You desperately need it right now. It's messing you up. All right, Scorpios. You've got the Hierophant. Well, that's a good card. That feels very nice. So, you know, Gemini has the Hermit. It needs its time alone to recoil. This is more that you're like the teacher or the messenger. You might be learning or writing or busy researching. You see he's dressed in orange robes, almost like a monk, even though he's supposed to be a pope. And he's got a pointy hat that's also orange, so very much showing his divinity and the light around his head. And all these sort of guides, or you could call them guides, you could call them demons around him. He's very comfortable and at one with himself. So I get a really nice stabilized and reflective period that you're in. And there's a lot of learning, and there might be, as I said, some research, some writing, some increase in your spiritual life as you understand that, which for some people can mean, you know, reading more religious text, if that's what it is for you, going back to things that formed you and remembering them, doing something that you consider to be sacred. Other people, it could be, reading or learning about something for the first time, but there's a concentration, with the Hierophant. It's not just like flipping through things quickly. All right, Sagittarius, you're probably feeling this full moon activate you. Ah. Huh. Four of discs. Well, you see how it's a square. There's a stability to the square. There's also a loneliness to the square. This is a castle moat, a castle with a moat around it, castle walls. That's all I've been looking at for the last 3 weeks is like different European cities and their castle walls and the shit that happened along those castle walls and moats. Throwing people over the edges when they're sick. Using the moat for sewage so that nobody will cross across the moat and get into the castle. All kinds of dirty, crazy stuff that happened in the medieval times with these castles. So the thing is, the walls are secure. Maybe you're safely inside your castle. Are there other people there, or are you there alone? Take a look at what you've built in your life and ask yourself whether you're happy with it and it's allowed enough freedom, because you're a freedom loving sign, and enough people to come in and out and enter, or have you sort of walled yourself off too much? Capricorns. Ah, there she is, the passion. Reach out and grab it. Reach out and grab what you want, Capricorn. If anybody plans and overthinks, it's you. So be spontaneous about it. Don't wait so long. You've thought it through enough. You're the opposite. Libra's still thinking so much that it can't think, thinking so much that it's frozen and stuck. But you've thought it out, thought it out, thought it out, thought about it. Now it's time to do. Do it. Do it. Go for it. Jump in. Aquarius. Ah, very nice. Victory. 6 of Wands. You've got some things balanced out quite nicely right now. You might be juggling a few fires, but you've got them in place. Like one little thing, could be people, could be tasks, could be work-life balance, work-home balance, but you've got it pretty well laid out and organized right now. So bravo, you've succeeded to master something in this chapter of your life. Doesn't mean there isn't being tired or overwhelmed, but give yourself credit. There's many things that you've actually figured out and put in place or in order that are working quite well together. Probably you'll see some sort of good news or announcement or some. Yeah, the victory card makes me feel like you're about to get a win, recognition, or something like that. All right, Pisces. Pisces card, 9 of Cups, lovely. Celebrations, creativity, letting the love flow, letting the friendship flow, letting the generosity roll, including other people. This is lovely. I would say this full moon might be a good time for celebrations, parties, gatherings. Pretty much now, I think we pretty much all of us can. Reconnection, rebonding. Lovely. Like this is passion, but it's not overzealous. It's not overambitious. It's not impatient. It's happy. It's content. It's lovely. It's like a more mature version of passion, if you will. It's not where, where it's not urgent. Urgency is where we run into problems with passion. People get so passionate and then they get so impatient at the same very quickly after when things don't work as they wanted, when they wanted, or fast. And then they go, oh, it's not working. Why? What did I do wrong? Why don't people like me? Why aren't they receiving? Don't they know what I can do and who I am? And how hard I've worked and all that stuff. It's passion turned into impatience, and then it turns into self-sabotage if we're not careful. So the Nine of Cups is lovely because it's like includes many things, many people, many aspects. Not one is like on overdrive versus the other. It understands the interconnectedness, and it's still very productive, and it's flowing, so it's passionate without being like, why, So that's a very nice way to end off. So I am still away until the end of the month, but I probably can fit in some online readings, but otherwise I'm asking people to book for July and onwards. So I've already had quite a few people book for July, and like for when I get back. But if you're looking for a session, then please reach out. I'm going to try to set up this video to still have all the links that I normally do. Otherwise, if me and you can't, you can go to another one of the videos, or you can just find me at river-rain.com. And I look forward to helping you out. All right. Have a happy, 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 happy full moon.